All right, all right, all right. Welcome in Toilets to Titles. This is episode number 167. Today we're discussing some of the news, some of the rumors coming out of Indianapolis for the 2023 NFL Combine, and we are also going to recap the 2022 Bathroom Board. Well, you heard us discuss it at Toilets to Titles
Yeah,
all off season, like throughout last off season, throughout the regular season. Anytime we disagreed, a lot of it had to do with Jalen Waddle. We had some other stuff. We had a few other big bets on there, but there was a lot of, you know, back and forth, back and forth. And we always throw that on the Bathroom Board. And this year, now that we merged with CFB Nation and we got some new members on the team, I'm assuming we're going to have a lot more discussion where we disagree. And the Bathroom Board is
absolutely.
only going to get bigger. So you're hearing his voice right now. That's my co host. That's Moon at FF_Moon Vibes on the Twitter. Moon, what's cooking?
Yo, I'm so happy to see you back
Yeah.
safe and sound,
Yeah.
enjoying the time for the kids in
Yeah.
Disneyland
Yeah.
and Universal. I'm excited for today's show. Shout out to Justin, all of the T2T team, CFB Nation. The show is sponsored by Real Ones Productions tonight. And like you said, you can follow me on FF_Moon Vibes on Twitter. You can follow Coach at Coach Ships and at Toilets to Titles on Twitter as well. Make sure you also follow at the CFB Nation for all the latest in the college football world. It's a lot that we're going to be talking about. I'm excited to see these bets
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I want to know who is sipping on the Kool-Aid
Yeah.
the strongest. Were they sipping like Nino does Red Bulls, or was it was it on a lesser scale? But
Man, Nino came in strong. So this is like we're going into our second year with Nino. Now he's the COO, like he's a partner at the Titles. Dude took over in about a year, man. Came, he saw, he conquered. And you'll see his name came up there a lot. So I'm looking for like we got a few guys who've been with the team for like 3 years. They don't say anything with their chest. They speak, but like he's the type of dude he speaks, he says it with his chest, and so do I. If I believe something, I believe something. I'm going to put it. The Bathroom Board is where we get a chance to back it up, and we're going to crown a champion. So you'll be able to see all that. And like Moon said, make sure you also follow at the CFB Nation. CFB Nation has a new member. His name is Matt, right? And he's got a new show. It's called Draft Nerds. So you got P2P. So we go live 8 p.m. to its titles. P2P goes live at 9 on the CFB Nation. So you want to subscribe to that YouTube channel. And then we also have, I'm sorry, not P2P. CFB Nation tonight is live at 9.
Mhm.
I'm getting my shows mixed up. We have
It's a
so many.
lot, man.
And then the reason I got that mixed up is because Jared and Nino are together for
Mhm.
P2P when they do record, right? But they're also together for head to head. So head to head goes live at 9:30. So you'll see KT, you'll see Nino at 9. And I believe Boomer and Dino are going to join them at the end of the show. So you'll be able to see them live from Indianapolis, which we're also going to discuss. But why don't you discuss Draft Nerds, what Matt is bringing to the table over at the CFB Nation?
Well, Matt, you can follow him at Hayes the Truth on Twitter. He was somebody that I came across in this Twitter sphere, and we just connected instantaneously over fantasy football. And his time that he has given me has been really amazing. We got a chance to meet at the Senior Bowl with all of us down there. You got a chance to meet the T2T fam and the CFB Nation fam as well, and then beautiful things started happening in the air. We started discussing what his goals and visions were for his content. He does spaces in this Twitter sphere as well, called Draft Nerds. So we thought, how could we like bring this more to life? And that's what launched the partnership. So we're excited to announce that Matt is a part of the CFB Nation team. He has a show, Draft Nerds, that just dropped. They're going to be chronicling everything that's going on in the 2023 NFL draft. Make sure you check it out. It's very depth, and just like the name says, Draft Nerds. If you are all about the NFL draft, that's the place that you want to get it to. Last episode they talked about the early mock round,
Yeah.
mock for round one. That was talked about it. Also, the HBCU Legacy Bowl. So you can check that out on CFP Nation. Matt's amazing. Excited to welcome him into the team as well. And I know the content he's bringing is going to be powerful to say the least. He's not only doing Draft Nerds, but he also has a Pac-12 show that's in the works, and he also has a Baltimore Ravens for the NFL people out there. He got something in the pipeline too for that. So a lot to come. That's why you need to subscribe to CFB Nation and Toilets to Titles.
That's it, man. So between CFB Nation and Toilets Titles, you're gonna have Draft Nerds. It's gonna be on CFB Nation. You're gonna have On the Clock. That's on Toilets Titles. So between the two of our networks here, one big network, you're going to have multiple draft shows, and we're just going to be bringing you tons of draft content. They just came out with, so Draft Nerds, Matt, he's got a mock draft. And then on Thursday night on the clock with KT, Nino, and myself, we're going to be talking about some combine risers, some guys we're really interested in. And I'm going to tell you right now, one of the players I'm really interested in, I'm going to tease it a little bit, is Brian Branch. I think Brian Branch, if
Been talking about him for a
you're
while.
listening to the mocks, yes, I've had him in the top 15 for a while. I think the combine, he's going to dude is so agile. You know who else I think is going to do well at the combine? I think Tyler Scott's going to do well. Another guy. So I don't want to give away. I don't want to give away all of our on the clock content. And we're going to discuss all this. But however you're listening, remember, subscribe to both channels. All right, we're one big happy family. Hit the like button on the episodes. Throw us some comments. Hit the bell so you get alerted every time we go live, because we want you to get alerted. So we want you to be here. We want to see you live during the feed so we can respond and interact like I am with D now right now. D now's in the comments. We see you, man. He's out there in Indy with Boomer. I saw they had a fantastic lunch. D now and Boomer had like a night. It looked like they were eating steak. So the boys are taking care of themselves. If you have Apple Podcasts, throw us a 5-star review. If you want to get into our Frankenstein Listener League, which you've heard about, if you're familiar with the show, you know about it. If you're not familiar with the show, you're going to hear a lot about it. It's our big league. It's our listener league. It's a fantasy football league. It's absolutely bananas. Within the next month or so, like as the draft starts to wrap up, we're really going to start getting into fantasy again. And which, our show, me and Moon, we're going to be talking fantasy a lot. But right now, we're just heavy with the draft content just because that's what's going on. And as we get to go a little bit after the draft, we're going to get heavy into Frankenstein. We're going to start filling it. If you want to get into our listener league, which is going to have about 90 people in it, throw us a 5-star Apple review. DM it to me on Twitter at Coach Chefs, and that'll be a free way to get you in there. Check out toiletsandtitles.com. And also get in the Gilded Chat. Yeah, go ahead, Moon.
Tell them. Get in the Gilded Chat.
You tell them. You tell them about the Gilded Chat.
They got to get in the Gilded Chat. Listen, me and Coach came together and built the Gilded Chat from the ground up. So it's there for you. It's basically one big arena for everybody in the T2T fam that enjoys the content to come in and parlay. There's something for you to stay connected with everything that's going on that we're doing as far as content creation, and also be a part of the Frankenstein League. If you want to be in part of Frankenstein, the 90 plus people, make sure you join the Gilded server. We should see you in there. And also the Title Tribe, we cater to you too. So yeah, it's active.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It's great because we had Twitter chats, we had group me chats, we had WhatsApp chats, and Moon came to me. He's like, hey, how about we put all that in one space? And we put it all in one space. I'm a creature of habit. I was a little bit nervous, but man, like after talking with Moon, we spent like hours on the phone together getting that thing. I think it's perfect. If you want to get in, reach out to either of us on Twitter and then send us a message, and we will send you a link to Gilded. It'll be like a quick question. It'll ask you just to make sure it's not a bot. And then we will accept you. You'll be in there. You'll be in the Title Tribe. If you want to be in Frankenstein, we'll put you in the Frankenstein chat. We're also going to be doing mock drafts with the Title Tribe. Anybody who's in Gilded, we're going to be doing mock drafts in there. And that not just NFL mock drafts. We're going to be doing redraft mock drafts. We're going to be doing dynasty mock drafts. And they're just going to randomly pop up. So we're going to be doing all that. And look at this, man. Speaking of things randomly popping up, if you look at the bottom of the screen, Moon, you might see we have somebody who's interested to talk about some bathroom board bets, because this guy, you know what? And he's also going to want to talk about, this is going to lead me right into some Dolphins discussion.
That's the perfect segue.
All right. So George Reed at George Reed FF on the Twitter, man. It is good to see you. And it is a great time to bring you in because we got boots in the ground in Indy. All right. So the three of us, we were all together in Mobile, Alabama. I can't wait to get back there next year. But right now, we're also credentialed. CFB Nation, Toilets, Titles. We got credentials now for the NFL Combine, which is absolutely incredible. And more so, I was just in Disney World and Universal Studios. I saw Doc from Back to the Future. We were chatting. He was telling me who's going to win the Super Bowl next year. I can't really let you guys know because I promised him I wouldn't. But that being said, I told my wife, hey, we got credentials to go to the Combine. And my wife's sitting there trying to figure out how I can get there, being in Florida. And I was like, don't worry, I'll go there next year. But having that support is huge. But anyway, George, Jared, he's there right now. And he quoted Mike McDaniels. I saw your quote as well. So we're seeing two different sides of the spectrum. But Jared said Mike McDaniels, while at the podium, said that Tua and the organization are in completely different places as far as his career is concerned right now. And his future is something we will obviously be discussing during the process. So as a Dolphins fan, try not to wear teal-colored glasses. Try to be fair. What do you think that means?
So, well, first off, let me say I was supposed to join the show tonight from the very beginning. I forgot that it was going at 8 o'clock. I thought it was at 8:30. But because I am subscribed on YouTube and I have the little alert button set up, I got an alert that you guys went live. So if you're out there and you're watching and you are not subscribed to the Titles and Titles on YouTube, you need to hit that bell because it will remind you, much like it just reminded me, that there was a show tonight and that I was supposed to be on it. And so now here I am because I got that reminder because I'm subscribed. So go subscribe and do it right now. And have your friends subscribe. Have your kids subscribe. Have your mother subscribe. Have your mother-in-law subscribe. Have everybody subscribe.
And you look crystal clear, by the way. You look crystal clear.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's a filter, like the YouTube, the TikTok filters that are going around that make you look better. Yeah, that's what I've got going on here too.
I like it.
But back to the topic at hand, Coach McDaniel. So here's the thing. Jared has been on this kick about anti-Tua for a while now. So when he posts stuff about Coach McDaniel, I have to fact check him and when he posts stuff about Tua, I have to fact check him because much like I look at the Dolphins with teal colored glasses, Jared looks at him with the opposite color of teal, whatever that may be. I'm not sure, but he's not on board with Tua. He's not on board with the Dolphins. He didn't think they'd be very good. It's the whole Alabama-Oklahoma thing. Tua's from Oklahoma, so he's got this natural built-in disdain and disgust for Tua. I don't know what it is. I get the college rivalry thing. Maybe Tua, crushed his hope and dreams in college. Who knows? But Jared is very biased towards Tua Tagovailoa and thus the Miami Dolphins. What he posted was half true. What the Dolphins are doing with Tua, and I told this to Jared in Alabama together, is they're not going to honor his fifth year of his contract, his fifth year option. They're not going to invest that much money into him. They're going to let him play out the 4 years, and if he can go next season without having career-threatening concussions or any other type of career-threatening injuries, they will look to re-sign him for a long-term deal. Now, that is what is best for the organization. That is what's best for the Miami Dolphins. So there's that. What is best for Tua in his camp is for the Dolphins to either exercise that fifth-year option or sign him to a long-term contract now. So what he's saying is kind of half right, but it's not completely right. It's a little bit of both. The other quote that was from Coach McDaniel today, which is a lot different than what Jared put. I'm trying to pull it up right now. It's right here. Both parties really want him to play at a very high level for a long time for the Miami Dolphins. That is a direct quote from Mike McDaniel today at the Combine. I noticed Jared didn't put that anywhere in his tweet because it doesn't help his cause. It doesn't push his motive or his agenda. So he left that completely out. So I had to fact check him with that. And I took that straight off of Travis Wingfield, who is one of the Miami Dolphins employees of the organization that is there at Indianapolis this year as well. So that's my thoughts on Tua and what Jared posted.
All right. Another big piece of news. This was the first. So it's the first time as a show, as a network, we've had anybody at the Combine. It's the first time we've been credentialed. So we get down there. We got Boomer there. We got D now there. We got the chat going on Gilded. We got some live content in there, like live discussion throughout the day on what's going on at the Combine, on what these guys are seeing. The first piece of news as a network that we received live from Indianapolis, like this is boom, first time ever at the Combine, T2T, D now, DMs. Sean Payton rolled in rocking New Balances. So that's how close they were. That's how close they were, man. I will always remember that message. All right, we're there. Here comes Sean Payton rocking the New Balances. And then it followed with like a flurry of little messages. I just thought that was funny. That's the first piece we get. Speaking of Gilded, if you want to support the show, you want to support us going to things like the Combine, going to things like the Senior Bowl. Hopefully in the future, we're going to the Shrine Bowl. We're going to other bowl games and other, maybe we start to go to spring games for different colleges so we can bring you more live content. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/toilets and titles. We got a Gilded. So not only in Gilded, we have a specific Patreon channel on Gilded where we're going to be releasing Patreon exclusive content. So first tier, $3 a month, supports the show, gets you into that channel. $5 during the season gets you access to our waiver wire episodes that go out. Like we record this Monday night and we release it Tuesday morning. It doesn't go to anybody else. All right. So tier 2 gets you that. Also get you entry into Frankenstein. Tier 3 is $7.50, gets you one-on-one draft advice, which is going to be huge if you're doing any startups, Devi, Dynasty, and then redraft. Also get you DFS advice. Tier 4 is $10, which gives you free entry into Frankenstein. And Frankenstein is $25. And I think like 30% of Frankenstein money goes to charity. And this year we gave away $500, I believe, to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And finally, the last tier is $20. Get you one-on-one roster analysis plus a 30-minute episode about any one of your fantasy leagues. So we will break down your fantasy league. We'll break down the draft. We'll break down the transactions. We'll break down who we think is going to win, who we think is going to lose, maybe some moves some teams should be making. So we got a lot of stuff on there, man. So that's our patreon.com/toilets and titles. Moon, I'm going to pass it over to you, man. We got some news, some rumors coming out of the combine we're going to discuss before we get into this bathroom board discussion, man. So why don't you kick it off?
Oh, yeah, for sure. NFL news and rumors. And before I get started, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Happy Tuesday night. This is coming from the combine. We got fellas in the board that's down there in the combine. Some guys that I know. The Eagles expect Miles Sanders to move on. They love Gainwell, could move forward with him as the lead back. How do y'all feel about this? I'll start it off and say this. We saw Gainwell pop off in stretches when they actually utilize him. They have a heavy system that features running backs. That's nothing really new if you've been watching them. I think this only just opens the door for Gainwell to have more opportunity, but it also opens the door for more speculation to see if they feel another need, whether it is in free agency or whether it is in the draft. So that's what I'm looking forward to. As far as Miles, we already knew his contract situation. So
Yeah.
He's kind of expected like that he was going to slide. But how do y'all feel about it?
Well, first off, with Miles, I think he'd be a great fit in Kansas City. I know they got Pacheco. I know they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know they have McKinnon, but I think Miles Sanders, like he can do a little bit of. I know Pacheco runs hard, he's fast, but I'd like to see him over there in Kansas City. I think he'd really fit in that offense. Now, as far as the Eagles go, if the Eagles love Gainwell, which they might, I think Gainwell, Boston Scott, I think both of them are very good. And I think if you're going to keep both of them, I think you're going to utilize both of them. Maybe a 60-40 split, and then I think there's going to be games regardless of where Boston Scott takes over. But ultimately, I don't think that's the truth. That I think they love Kenneth Gainwell because he's a Philadelphia Eagle and he's their own. But I also could see them saying that so that teams that want Bijan Robinson don't jump them for Bijan Robinson, because I just have a feeling that the Philadelphia Eagles coming in, they let Miles Sanders walk. They can bring in a running back, and they have a luxury of having 2 first-round picks. Like, why not? Like, draft one of the, like, if at 10, if you could draft one of the top 5 players in this class, even say it's a running back, and you don't like the draft capital of investing that early in a running back, you have 2 picks. You're 1 drive away from winning the Super Bowl. You can afford to make that selection. The Patriots, when they were killing it, they tried doing this with Sony Michel, and it was like, I think there were a lot of people who thought he was the wrong back for them to be taken. So they tried taking the luxury pick, getting the running back when they had the 2 first-round draft picks, and I think they took Isaiah Wynn as well. The Eagles might go that route, but they might actually get it right, and they'll get it right by drafting a guy like Bijan Robinson. He'll just absolutely take that offense to the next level. As a Cowboys fan, I'd hate to see it. George, you're shaking your head. You think they're sticking with Gainwell?
No, I don't think they're sticking with Gainwell, but I don't think they're spending a first-round pick on a running back. Yes, they have 2 of them, so they have the luxury to be able to spend a first-round pick on a running back if they wanted to. But I think we can agree they're not spending the number 10 overall pick on a running back, right? So unless they trade that pick back,
I don't agree to that.
You think they're going to take a running back at the number 10 pick?
I think they could. I absolutely think
it would be stupid. It would be stupid because you could trade that pick back.
Why?
Because you can trade that pick back and get a lot more assets. Like let's say you trade back to
what is
18.
what is someone trading up for at 10?
Well, if what's his name, the quarterback from Florida,
Richardson. And I knew you were going to say that because I think that's
he's
about
available
it. But what if he's not?
Well, what if he is? I mean,
what if he's not, George? No, but you're saying what if. You're saying, but you're what ifing a team makes a trade. You can't do a what if and then tell me I can't do a what if. If you're going to what if, I can
somebody wants to trade up for a lineman, or what if they want to trade up for a cornerback?
There's plenty of linemen.
Some linemen are not on the same level as other linemen. Some cornerbacks are not on the same level.
Yeah, and there's a lot of running backs who aren't on the same level as Bijan Robinson, and that's why I think there's a chance they'll take him.
The Philadelphia Eagles have the luxury of when was the last time a running back was picked in the top 10 and that team made it to the Super Bowl?
They got two picks, right?
But how many teams? But how many teams that pick in the top 10 are a team that just went to the Super Bowl?
Their second pick is number 30. I don't think he'll be there at 30. I think Bijan does go in the first round. I don't think he goes to Philadelphia at 10.
All right,
I don't think he's going to be there at 30.
Even if it's not Bijan, the consensus number 2 running back is Jahmyr Gibbs. Is that a possibility?
I think that's more likely. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is more likely. They can trade up to get him in the second round.
I think he's too similar to what they have with Gainwell and Scott. If I'm them, if I don't go with Bijan, I'd want a guy like Zach Evans. Like I'd want to pair Gainwell and Scott with a thumper. That more so. If I'm not going to draft Jahmyr. I mean, Jahmyr is a step above both of them at what they do, but what does he do that they can't?
The problem is this running back class is absolutely loaded with talented running backs. This free agent class in running backs is loaded with running backs. And then there's talks and rumors that running backs are available for trade.
Man, I'm almost about to put this on the bathroom board.
But let's put it on the board.
But that'd be tough to predict. Number 10, I'm just saying it could happen.
No, I'm willing to say
the odds are in your favor.
I'm willing to say the Philadelphia Eagles will not pick Bijan Robinson anywhere in the first round. Anywhere in the first round.
Man. But I don't want it to happen, being a Cowboys fan.
It's not going to happen. That organization is way too smart to spend, even if it's a luxury first-round pick. That organization is way too smart to spend a first-round pick on a running back.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Moon, what is the second bit of news and rumors coming out of the combine?
Well, what y'all was just talking about got my head hurting, and if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles front office, like cue the Rocky music.
Yeah,
that's what I want. For the next news and notes that's coming out of here, the Packers, they don't want Aaron Rodgers back. Bye-bye. And they intend on letting love start. More love in the air for Green Bay. Now, I'll wait for last on this one.
No. After that giggle, we went from the city of brotherly love to now the city that's going to be starting love. So I want to hear your thoughts on it.
That's a perfect segue, by the way. That should be a banner.
Yeah,
it is for real.
I say this. I mean, Packers fans got to be tired of this every season thing. Like, I don't know how many years it's been where it's like, is he in? Is he out? Is he in? Is he out? 1 foot in. Look like double Dutch, basically. And, Aaron Rodgers, if the last time I got a chance to see you in a Green Bay Packers uniform, it was the Detroit Lions beating you when you should have been able to clinch that situation for your team at home, to only go, it's just not a good look, and it's just a bad taste in people's mouths. But at this point, the only way you can get the bad taste out your mouth is just go to mouthwash. So, I mean, hey, I think that they are. How many years are we removed from Jordan Love being drafted?
Man, like I want to say like 4, right?
It feels
I
like
invested
4,
so
but
much
I want to
money.
say it's 3. And if we are 3, how much time has he had to develop behind
I think this
Aaron
is
Rodgers?
4th year. Let me double check. Keep going.
Going into 4?
I believe so, but keep going. I'll take a look.
even still, how much time has he had to really develop behind Aaron Rodgers? I'll let y'all chat about that in the chat. And then also how that's a part B to the question is how willing was Aaron Rodgers to guide and give the ropes, show the ropes to Jordan Love during his time, especially in the past two seasons. The past two seasons, because whenever he came back from that trip, he was kind of moving a little bit different, in a good way, in my opinion. I have a different view about Aaron Rodgers than most of the general public, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna stay on. I'm gonna stay on my lane.
I
The
guess Love
lane.
only played 2 years.
Who Love?
Love, I get.
He only played 2 years.
I don't know. I can't
So
see
this is
when.
his third year.
This will be his 3rd year, I believe.
Okay, so I want to know, Packers fans, are we really rocking with Love, or are we in a situation where we looking quarterback of the future too? Because how long is this project? Like, I know the capital that we spent, but how long is this project going to last? Like, if you look at opportunity cost, of Aaron Rodgers being on your roster and him not being on your roster for the Packers organization, that is a conversation that will probably lead in like a million different feelings popping up. I think that this marriage is finally coming to an end, and it's time for the divorce papers to come out.
Yeah.
And I'm actually happy, not because of the marriage and the split, but because it might be an opportunity for new life to be, developed. I want to know what this new era of Green Bay really is outside of Aaron Rodgers.
Man.
And
Yeah.
I want to know, where does he end his career? And, if he really is a winner, and as simple as that. And the big chip.
I think if Rodgers gets moved, I think he's a Jet. Ultimately, I don't think Green Bay sends him anywhere in the NFC, and I think they've stated that. I think if he gets moved, it's the Jets. I think it's a solid move, but as far as their offense goes, with the running backs they have, with the wide receivers they have, I imagine they invest and improve the offensive line a little bit because their defense is already playing very well with that coach, Salah. And with that defense, they got to think they're very close to being successful. They're right behind the Bills. They got to compete with the Dolphins. But, I think
that's a different type of media. You think Green Bay Packers media is different? New York media is different.
But if
Jared just confirmed
Yeah.
that the GM only wanted to talk about Love and not Rodgers.
Man, but if the Packers are really upset with Aaron Rodgers and really over it, if they want to burn him, there's a chance he could succeed in New York. But if he doesn't, like, it's going to go down. Like, New York media, they're not going to be having it. But I do want to state, correction, he was drafted in 2020. That was his 3rd season, so he's going on his 4th. But he just didn't participate at all in 2020. Didn't play any snaps. He didn't play any snaps until 2021. And then he improved his passing percentage from 58 in 2021 to 66%. So he got a little bit better. I'm excited to see Jordan Love. I'm hoping that if the Packers move on to Jordan Love, that they invest in a wide receiver. Like, you do got Dubs, you do got Watson, but they need that slot guy. And we've mocked the slot receiver, like a guy like Zay Flowers, who put on like 13 pounds of muscle. Somebody like that, somebody like Josh Downs, you can get there, pair him with Jordan Love. But George, I see you. Go ahead, my man.
So I just wanted to real quick address my boy Moon here about how Packers fans feel about Aaron Rodgers. I believe this was best summed up by the D character Bane when he said, I was born into it, molded by it. I didn't see a stable quarterback situation until I was already a man. And by then, it was nothing to me but normal.
You think darkness is your ally?
No, because they went through this. No, because the Green Bay Packers fans went through the exact same thing with Brett Favre. Is he retiring? Mm-hmm. Is he not retiring? I'm going to retire. Oh, I'm going to come back.
So you're saying that they're numb. This is them. This is what they are. This is what they were born into. To quote the Bane reference, he's quoting Batman, but like this is what they are. So it doesn't even really phase them. They're just
they're used to this. This is what it is. What it is. They're used to this. The only thing I'm looking at is I looked up Aaron Aaron Rodgers' contract. I didn't realize that man has a $99.7 million this season.
You said a $99.7 million cap hit.
I feel like they
Yes.
put, I don't know. There's got to be some ways out of that, because I remember them discussing when they signed him last year that the contract was made in a way that they could easily get out of it.
They added 3 years to his contract, so technically, and we all know how the NFL. Well, we don't know how the NFL contracts work, but technically he's under contract with Green Bay until 2026. Now you could take a lot of that pay and prorate it over the next 4 seasons, so they can add a year to that contract getting paid, a la what the Saints do almost on a yearly basis. So they can maneuver that cap hit. But he would have to agree to it first off and foremost.
Or if they trade him,
as of right now, he's got to.
If they trade him, there's no cap hit.
Well, no, if they trade him, there's still a penalty. Yeah, they're still stuck with.
They're gonna end up like my Falcons was essentially with Matt Ryan.
We got to talk about this bathroom board. So I want to bring up. I'm going to bring up a few more items on here. Well, feel free to discuss it. Then we'll move on to the bathroom board. Leonard Fournette released. I mean, really, I don't think that's major news. The dude checked out last year. Jacoby Myers, though.
You said Lenny Fournette is gone?
Gone, dude. Bucks
I was catching a lot of heat on Twitter this past season. I just want to say this. I was catching a lot of heat this past season, when everybody was talking about Leonard Fournette and his weight and how he came in overweight and then dropped it down before the season was started, and then he was getting a lot of slack. I was always saying that it's Rachaad White season.
Yeah.
And it looks like that is officially underway.
Yes.
Right there.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Fournette, I was saying all off season last year, too, with the Brady stuff. Like, he's a fair weather guy. When things are going great, dude, he's at the front of the line. He's bulldozing people. He's giving everything he's got. But the second things start to go south, he wants nothing to do with it. Not the type of guy I want my team. But Jacoby Myers, people are saying, I saw one quote saying they're expecting him to get Christian Kirk money, expecting him to land 18 to 20 mil, which is that's some interesting news. That's interesting to keep an eye on.
That's spicy, coach.
Yeah, and then
spicy because people might sleep on him as a wide receiver.
Well, here's some news why, because there's teams in the market for a wide receiver, and the Bengals, if you're looking at T. Higgins and you think you're going to trade for him, the Bengal GM says, nah, ain't happening. They're not letting him go. So you might have to go ahead and sign a guy like Jacoby Myers. Or you know what else you could do? You could trade for a guy like Brandon Cooks, because apparently there's a lot of teams inquiring about Brandon Cooks, and the Texans and Cooks' agent are going to meet up, and they're going to see what's happening going forward. If they don't trade for him, there's a chance he gets cut. Jacoby Myers, Brandon Cooks on the market. Myers might get a little bit more money, but I can see Cooks going for Juju money.
I think that I would take Cook. I mean, I would take Jacoby Myers, and it, to me, it's really no debate. But
Giants should in a heartbeat. I think he'd be perfect. Like he'd be what they wanted Kenny Galladay to be. I think
Jacoby Myers probably could step in and be wide receiver 1 on the Giants right now.
Wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Joe knows. If you're in the chat, I want to see. He's our Giants show, which is Wednesday night.
Now I know that they got the cap hit situation with the franchise tag, whatever they figure out with Saquon and Daniel Jones and all the rest of the guys.
Saquon's gone.
But like,
there's reports that came out today that said that they're getting real close to a contract. They're much closer on a contract extension with Saquon right now than they were within the last couple of weeks.
Any news on Danny? Is because that's probably going to take longer, right?
No. Yeah, that's probably the next one.
Okay, so
if they're trying, if all of a sudden
a wide receiver,
if they're all of a sudden they're closer on Barkley, that might tell you that maybe they're thinking about franchising Danny Dimes. Like, so they could figure out the contract. Maybe they don't want to pay him long term, and they want to give him another year to figure it out.
20 mil.
Here's my thing with running backs. I'm never, if I'm a GM, I'm never signing a running back to a second contract ever. I'm just not doing it.
I think he's gone. I think he's gone, regardless of the rumors.
They're so easy to replace. Why would I tie up an absorbent amount of money into one position like a running back when I can easily replace it in the draft or free agency?
There's exceptions to that rule, though, in every rule, and it's generational talent. Saquon is generational talent. So
what is that generational talent? what has that generational talent got them the last few years? Not a
To the
damn
playoffs. To the playoffs. Like he carried them on an offense.
Saquon specifically more
that's what
than
I'm
just
talking
the
about
team
too.
element of the sport. Like
look at
Saquon
that offense last year. They had nothing. All their wide receivers were hurt. Saquon carried
could have
them
made
to the playoffs.
if Josh Jacobs was their running back last year, they would have made the playoffs.
No,
they wouldn't have to pay Josh Jacobs.
No, George. No, George. I'm not gonna let you do that because Brian DeBall was literally giving Saquon the ball 30 plus times a game, like it's nothing. Like this is regular. He literally carried Saquon the entire season. It could be maybe similar workload with Josh Jacobs as far as him because he had an amazing season too. But I'm not going.
It's different.
Saquon is
the Raiders were never
bro.
really in it. Like the Giants were fighting.
His point, what he's saying though, his point about the running back position being replaceable, I agree with. But I just think that Saquon is an exception.
Derrick Henry, like guys like that, like guys, that are you can completely build an offense around. I understand not wanting to pay a guy a second contract, especially since we got Zeke, and Zeke used to be able to run away from defenders. Now he can barely dude can't run away from the offensive line. So I get it, but Saquon's a freak.
That's kind of my problem with Saquon is he's already got 2 years he's missed because of injury. So you're going to assign him to an extension for 4 or 5 years. By the time he hits year 3, year 4, year 5, man, you're regretting that contract. You are absolutely regretting that contract.
But to your point, you just said he lost 2 years, so that's 2 less years that he hasn't played.
Yeah, but he hasn't played because of injuries, which is going to take more of an effect on the body. It puts him at higher risk of breaking down again.
All right, hey. We got to move on.
Let's keep going.
I forgot about this.
I think though. I think if you want to if you think we could put this in the bathroom board, we'll have to discuss in the Gilded Chat. So if you want to get in the Gilded Chat, you want to see our bets, you want to take part in our bets, we're going to add some of these items. Moon, George, we're going to continue these conversations in the Gilded Chat after the episode. We'll throw some of these items on the bathroom board. We're going to say it with our chest. But now let's move over to the 2022 bathroom board as I make a transition. Shout out to KT. Shout out to Nino for these clean overlays. I just made the transition. I know Nino's going to be proud. We also saw, just by the way, Joe Knows is in the chat. He said he ain't paying Jacoby Myers $20 million. He'd rather
he said he will pay Saquon.
He'd rather have Saquon. He'd rather draft a wide receiver. All right, bathroom board 2022. The first bet involved you, George. You had Tyler Lockett. Alex had Amon-Ra St. Brown. Fantasy finish PPR. This was pre-Russell Wilson trade. George, Amon-Ra St. Brown beat Tyler Lockett by 30 PPR points. So Alex won that first one. You have anything to say about that?
That's so small of a margin, bro.
Yeah.
It is, but and that was the pre-Russell Wilson trade.
Yes,
but what? I'm not gonna. We made that pre-Russell Wilson, but you know what? Spicy take. I think it would have been a lot more if Russell Wilson would have been the quarterback in Seattle. So it actually worked out in my favor, and it closed that gap a little bit, in my opinion, with Geno Smith being the quarterback over Russell Wilson.
Well, the next one I feel very good about, and this was pre-NFL draft. This is when everybody had Treylon Burks as the number 1 wide receiver. Coach said no. Dirty Jobs came in with Treylon Burks. I had Drake London. I said Drake London was going to finish with a higher PPR points. Drake London outscored Treylon Burks by 90 points.
And that is crazy because the Falcons choose, and I'm a Falcons fan, so I can say this. We ran the ball all year.
Yeah.
Bro, he could, if we had any passing game that was consistent, he would have blew the doors off of that.
What an athlete. Like you obviously Kyle Pitts is a unicorn, but Drake London, like he was made to play wide receiver, man. Big, athletic, dude was a big time basketball player when he was in dude just gets up, like he knows how to control his body. Treylon Burks struggled a little bit. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, who the rumors out of Tennessee coming out of the combine is that he's sticking around. They struggled a little bit. All right, the next one. Alex and Jason had Juju Smith-Schuster. I had DJ Chark. So we were chatting, and I said that DJ Chark was a more coveted asset going into free agency. They said Juju was. So the bet was I thought that DJ Chark was going to make more money than Juju did. And guess what? Coach wins again. DJ Chark made $8.9 million last year. Juju made $3 million plus incentives. He could get up to about the 10 range, but Chark
I think he made didn't Juju make almost all of his incentives? Because like I know he had incentives for them making the playoffs. He had incentives for them making the Super Bowl. He
didn't hit it. He didn't hit his yardage bonus or his reception bonus.
Okay.
So
right.
he fell below him because Chark had
Yeah.
10 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
And Juju only had 3 million guaranteed.
I would have said Chark on that one as well, but I was late to the table on that.
All right, the next one we had. So this was also, we had a guy in the team named Johnny Trees. So Moon, you never got a chance to meet him. This dude hated Buffalo, hated the Buffalo Bills. He's a Steelers fan, but he talked more about the Buffalo Bills than he did his own franchise.
The Steelers,
right? Yeah. So he thought, well, he didn't think because he's not involved in this.
He could smoke a mean brisket though. Let me tell you.
Yeah, dude. So this is where Kenny Pickett will start week 1 for the Steelers. Nate and Ben said he wouldn't. Alex said he would. Nate and Ben won because Pickett did not start. The next one, this one's kind of juicy. This was Nino's first. TJ Hawkinson versus Darren Waller. All right, Jared. So this is head-to-head in P2P going at it. TJ Hawkinson versus Darren Waller. Who's going to finish higher? And I know Waller was hurt, but I don't even think it would have mattered because Hawkinson blew the doors off that one with 215 points, and Waller only had 84.8. So Nino won that one. Do you guys have any opinion on the tight end clash right there?
I don't think it would have been close if Waller was healthy all year. Like that Raiders team was just bad to begin with. So
yeah. So what wouldn't even matter? Hawkinson, dude. Hawkinson, man, what a year! Has he like cemented himself top 3 tight ends fantasy football next year? What do you think, Moon?
Top 3?
Yeah.
No.
Who's your top 3 next year? Kelsey?
For next year?
Yeah.
So who do you have as top 3? Yeah, Kelsey.
I got Kelsey. I got Kittle.
Bathroom board 2023. I'll say Hawkinson outscores Kittle.
We say Hawkinson outscores Kittle?
I'll say it. If you think Kittle outscores Hawkinson, I'll say that the opposite. I think Hawkinson does it.
That's risky because I'll take that in a heartbeat. You want to know why? Because Amon-Ra St. Brown. When Amon-Ra St. Brown is in the game, Hawkinson is not the same.
Well, no, Hawkinson's in Minnesota.
That's
now.
fine. That's fine because Hawkinson's over in Minnesota. So it doesn't matter if Amon-Ra St. Brown's in the game.
I'm thinking early season. But even still,
it's Justin Jefferson, which is
a
step up.
I'm only seeing this based off of what I saw in the past. From a fantasy perspective, we talking about fantasy points allowed,
fantasy
points
PPR,
scored,
PPR, not tight end
PPR
premium, just PPR. So
yeah,
I'll take Hawkinson. I'm putting it on the board right now. All right,
Coach, put me with Hawkinson as well.
This is George Kittle's like best season, so I'll take it.
First, Kittle, Moon. All right. There we go. Boom. You got to witness. So Moon, you're new to the bathroom board. Guess what? You're on it, my friend.
That's the first one.
Y'all baited me into that one. Welcome to the 2023 bathroom board. I did. I'm pretty good at that. All right. Rodgers. All right. So Rodgers became a topic of discussion throughout the offseason. And this was because we got Nate and Alex, who are big time Green Bay Packers fans. So Rich said with his chest, Rodgers will not be a top 10 quarterback. And Alex said he would. Rodgers was 13. So Rich won that one. So hats off to you.
Rodgers finished high quarterback 2.
Yeah, he was 13 overall.
Yeah.
And that's with, I mean, they were running like mad, and they had a bunch of rookie wide receivers. So you gotta, I mean, and then Dobbs got hurt when he started to roll. So I think, but now also, were they running like mad because their running backs are that good, or because they just didn't believe in Rodgers anymore? Like which was it?
Yes.
It's hard telling. We'll see how he looks when he's over on the Jets, because that's my prediction. All right, this was Coach versus Nino again. When we go at it, Nino had Mac Jones. I had Trevor Lawrence for a higher fantasy point finish, and Trevor Lawrence was QB8 with 303 points, and Mac Jones was QB23 with 181 points. So Nino, like I baited you, Moon, on that last one. With you took Kittle, I took Hawkinson. I must have baited Nino on this one because he's a Patriots fan. I had to tug on those heartstrings. I took Trevor Lawrence, but then George got me on this next one. I took Zach Wilson. George took Tua 2022 fantasy point finish. Tua was 15th with 238 points. Zach Wilson was 34 with 104 fantasy points, man. Zach Wilson, do you guys think, like, is he done? Does he have a shot? Like, is he going to make it in the NFL, or is that dude like going to be old news in like 2 or 3 years?
I think he's a victim of drafting a quarterback early on a bad team and then making them start right away versus drafting a quarterback early, having a veteran. It doesn't matter if they're a good veteran, an average veteran, whatever, but having a veteran quarterback there that can start ahead of them and letting them sit for one season to learn the game, learn the NFL, learn the speed, get comfortable, maybe start towards the back end of their first season, but not just being thrown into the fire right away with all these high expectations. So I think I don't know if he's done or not. I'm not sure he'll ever be a quarterback for the Jets, but I think he could have a kind of like a Tannehill resurgence or like a Marcus Mariota resurgence last year where he goes to another team for a year or so, sits on the bench as the backup, and then an opportunity comes to where he can go out and compete for a starting job with another team down the road. Yeah. I think that is still within the range of outcomes for him, but I don't think he's ever going to start as the Jets starting quarterback again.
What do you think, Moon?
Can you repeat the question for me so I can get like I want the like Wheel of Fortune type vibes? Or
well, I'm just saying. So Zach Wilson, do we think he's ever going to amount to anything, or is the Zach Wilson experiment over?
This situation is very scary, and I say that word scary because I can't remember the last time a quarterback is like experienced this much criticism being so young and so much of his career is still left to go. And a part of it makes me feel like it's
look to Miami with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I don't even count that. That to me, that's mid compared to what they got going on with Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson,
his teammate. When has
and everything?
Zach Wilson's teammates that came out.
It's an example.
Zach Wilson's teammates has come out against him.
Yeah,
they were wearing just last year. The backup was getting all of the love, so much so that they're wearing shirts made by
apparel. That's weird.
And the quarterback is on the bench.
Yeah,
Robert Saleh don't want to commit to him. The owner don't want to commit to him. The team don't want to commit to him.
That's very.
The trainers don't want to commit to him. Like we talk about, nobody wants to commit to him. Don't talk about the fans. The fans definitely don't want to commit to him. The fans,
no, they don't.
Now I know that I'm not going to speak for the entire Jets Nation because some people might like Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, yes, but like that's why I say it's scary because it's like, what are we doing here? We saw what y'all were from the expectations for me for the Jets for the 2022 Jets was that they were going to be in the NFL playoffs.
Yeah,
and not as a wild card because I didn't expect them to win their division, but I'm thinking yes, playoffs. They have it's just right there for you. We already saw what year one was for Robert Saleh, so it's only bouncing back. You have the best draft in basically that I can remember.
Phenomenal draft.
And then I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm like, yo, something is not like. There's a smell. There's a smelly smell.
Yeah.
And I'm looking. I'm like, what are my spidey senses picking up? We in New York and everything.
Yeah.
And Peter Parker is not it.
No,
I'm just playing. He's not.
No, and this is a Peter Parker. It's Peter Porker. It ain't Peter Parker.
I'll just say that I just set the scene just to say that I don't think that would you put it on a bathroom board? No, but I don't think that he's going to be the starter.
No, I don't think he's going to be a starter. I'm nervous about his future. I think look at that offense. I know the line ain't perfect. They need to work on it a little bit, but they've invested. They brought in injuries. They brought in. That's it. But he had to deal with that. They brought in Vera Tucker. But you look at the stable of running backs they have. You look at the wide receivers they have and the tight ends they have. The depth. There are quarterbacks in the NFL doing more with so much less. So much less. And I understand he's young. This was only his second season. But when you bring in a young quarterback and you want him to succeed, what do you want to do? You want to put talent around him. There's talent around this guy. He just needs to get his head out of his rear end and learn how to be a professional. Because when those players were wearing the T-shirt for Mike White, that told me like they're making a statement. Because it wasn't Mike White asking for them to do that. They were making a statement, and whatever that statement is, you can decipher that on your own. But to me, that was a very awkward situation. But let's move on. George, you got another dub. You took Tua. Matt took Mac Jones. And Tua 15th, Mac Jones 23rd. This next one I feel pretty good about because there was a time in the offseason when everybody was saying DeAndre Swift was like it. And I like DeAndre Swift. I think he's an RB1, which is somewhere, I think he falls somewhere between the RB6 and RB12 range. Okay. This year he finished 21st, 191.1 points. So he wasn't even where I believe him, but that was because he was hurt early on. And then, they started to believe in Williams and they started to give him more carries. But we had Nino and Dirty Job saying he was going to finish top 4. I said he wouldn't. 191 points. And he was hurt, but he played, I want to say, at least 13 games this season. So for any running back, I think, who's going to be producing the way you think he'd be producing, 21st is way behind those expectations. Nino took DeAndre Swift in this next one. Nate took Aaron Jones, 2022 fantasy points finish. So you could tell we were on a DeAndre Swift kick at this point. Swift finished 21st. Aaron Jones finished 9th. Do we think that Aaron Jones finishes as the top 10 running back again this season?
No.
Moon, how about you?
Aaron Jones, no.
Both of you don't think Aaron Jones will finish as a top 10 running back this year?
No, because I think at some point we got to really figure out more about AJ Dillon. And
but they brought him back.
I know, but the last stretch of the year for Aaron Jones wasn't anything to make me say, "Oh my gosh, like he's about to finish top 10." No, I don't. I'll say.
All right, bathroom board. I'll take you. Will you take?
I'll say he finishes slightly off, and I'll give him a high RB2. So like running back.
No, Moon. Don't know. Coach said top 10. He said top 10.
No, the answer is no. But I'll give him specific.
Take what you're giving. He's not going to finish as a top 10 running back.
Okay, yeah. He's not finished as a top 10 running back.
No, I'm so confident he's not going to finish top 13. No, Coach said top 10. Take the top 10. I mean, you got this. That's like taking Tua over Mac Jones. It's easy money.
Right. Easy. All right. We'll move on to this next one, which was I had to look into college database for this one. So this was when you started to notice that Nino and Jared were on a college kick, and it was going to extend to P2P, and then it was going to extend to CFB Nation. That was this bet might have began the Titles CFB Nation merger right here, and this was between Nino when he fell in love with Will Levis. Jared was still high on Spencer Rattler, even though he had left Oklahoma. Which quarterback was going to finish higher in 2022? Levis finished 86th. Spencer Rattler finished 60th. And this is college fantasy points, okay? So Jared won that one, but I still think Will Levis coming out, he's going to be probably a top 15 NFL draft pick. So Nino looking good there. Nino, this next one, Nino was crushing me because I was high on Christian Watson. Now, I didn't have him in my top 5 wide receivers, but I said he'd be a high-end second-round draft pick, which he ended up being. Nino wasn't into the small school, and I also get that. He wasn't into the limited route tree. I also get that. Nino was high on Romeo Doubs. Nino said Romeo Doubs, higher fantasy points finished. I said Christian Watson. Watson finished 41st with 164 points. Doubs finished 71st with 101. So I won that one. This next one was Darren Waller versus Kittle. Rich had Waller. Nino had Kittle. Kittle was third, which was huge. In Moon, you're on that one for the next coming year. But Kittle, man, do we think that Kittle, do we believe that Kittle is better off if Jimmy Garoppolo leaves San Francisco?
I think he's always good if he has Kyle Shanahan as his guy.
Yep.
Yeah, but he definitely, like within the last 2 years, there were times when he was really not a part of the passing attack, like as much as we expected. We saw him take a step back. Was that due to injuries or was that due to Jimmy Garoppolo?
I guess you could say it's a combination of both. But I mean, if you just look at the sample size of what we saw with Purdy, in this year, they seem to feature him.
Right.
I think a large part of that also is they asked him to do more outside of catching the ball. Like I think they asked him to stay in, block more. They were using him more for
animal.
Yes. and I think they were using him more as a blocking for the wide receivers and all that. So I think it's a combination of the both. But I think it's more so they asked him to do other things.
Man. All right. When the Raiders brought in Devontae Adams, I thought it was actually a good thing for Hunter Renfrow. I thought he was going to eat. So I was on a Hunter Renfrow kick for a while. I took Hunter Renfrow, so did Rich. Nino took Hollywood Brown for a fantasy points finish. Brown finished 44th, Renfrow 92nd. So Nino kicked our butt on that one. The next one, though, Nino and Jared were loving Joe Mixon this offseason. I told them, I don't care that Nick Chubb doesn't catch the ball. He is an absolute dude. Nick Chubb finished 6th with 281 points. PPR. Mixon finished 10th with 240. So I won that one. Then we started on the Jalen Waddle thing. I was really beating the drum for Jalen Waddle this offseason. I think a lot of guys can remember that. I took Jalen Waddle over Tyreek Hill. I thought I believed it with my heart of hearts. Waddle finished 8th, 259 points. Hill, man, absolutely crushed it. 341 points. Crushed it. So I have myself as a winner there. I am wrong. Joe Knows won that one. All right, so Joe Knows. He won that one. The next one, I took Nick Chubb. Chuck, shout out to Chuck, the chef. He took Leonard Fournette. I thought that was a gimme. So Chubb finished 6th. Fournette finished 12th. The next one, I took David Montgomery over Leonard Fournette. He actually won that one. Montgomery finished 24th, took a backseat to Herbert after the injury. Fournette finished 12th. And then here's another one. Me and Nino were going at it. I was high on Dameon Pierce. Nino was high on Marlon Mack. Dameon Pierce finished 27th. Nino was like so certain that Marlon Mack was going to lead that Houston Texans backfield, but it did not work out. Marlon Mack finished 84th. Jared thought DJ Moore was going to be a top 10 fantasy wide receiver this year. George, you didn't. DJ Moore finished 24th. Why didn't you think? Was it Baker Mayfield, or you just thought in that offense, that team? Like, why didn't you think DJ Moore would?
I've never been a DJ Moore guy. I know he's a talented wide receiver. I think he's a very good wide receiver. A lot of people think he's like a top 12 wide receiver. He's not. He's a solid wide receiver too. I wasn't on board with DJ Moore, especially being a top 10 wide receiver. I could name 15 wide receivers I thought at the beginning of last year I thought would finish higher than DJ Moore. So,
Moon, you're building a franchise, right? You have the choice. Tomorrow, right now. Why tomorrow? Why am I today? This moment, you have the choice: Zay Flowers or DJ Moore. Which player are you rostering? Oh, that one. Oh,
he hit him in the fields with this one.
I'll say DJ, bro.
Okay.
It's not by a super wide margin, but I'll say DJ.
Okay, but it made you think.
Yeah, because I never seen that comparison coming.
Well, it's not necessarily comparing the two.
No, I'm forced to because you made me pit them against each other.
But you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that's who Zay Flowers is going to be.
Oh, yeah,
I just mean he's going to play that role in your offense. He's going to be in the slot. He's going to be, moving the chains. He's aggressive. He's big. He's physical. So I want to see DJ. Yeah, you'll go
because I know DJ can play outside.
Yeah,
so
that's my key thing. Like,
I would have
Zay Flowers. I feel like he's
limited.
Go ahead, George.
I would say I'd have taken DJ Moore as well, just because it's the known versus the unknown. I know what I can get out of DJ Moore. As much as we like Zay Flowers, he could go and be a bust in the NFL. We don't know. He could be fantastic. He could be amazing.
Man, let's revisit this, please. Like after the NFL draft, let me see where Zay Flowers goes.
Yep.
I might take Zay Flowers PPR finish next year over DJ Moore. Should I just do it right now?
Do it right now.
Not knowing
say
where.
Not
knowing where he ends up.
Say it with chest.
Don't do it, Moon. I have to. Now I have to. Why not? Why not? So Coach says Zay Flowers outscores DJ Moore in PPR. Moon and George say no.
We just baited you into that one.
Hey, hey, Moon, you know what's going to happen, right? Zay Flowers is going to end up in Carolina.
Yeah, and they're going to be battling. They're going to be battling. All right, let's move on. We got a few more minutes. We're dragging this thing out. All right, me and George took Jalen Waddle over Justin taking Michael Pittman.
That was
Pittman
easy.
Finished 20th. Waddle finished 8th, and then Justin had said that Cortland Sutton wouldn't finish top 30. Me, George, and Nino were on the Cortland Sutton train after Russell Wilson went in there, and man, that didn't work out. Like I still have high hopes for Cortland Sutton. I still have high hopes for Jerry Jeudy, but man, you'd expect both of them to break out by this point. They really haven't yet. We need to see some consistency from the Denver wide receivers. Matt took Tom Brady. Nino took Derek Carr. Carr finished 17th. Brady finished 12th. So Matt won that one. And then Matt said Tom Brady would be a top 10 quarterback. Justin said no. Tom Brady finished 12th, which, man, the year prior, he was, I think, a top 3 in fantasy. Here comes the Baker Mayfield discussion. Jared said Baker Mayfield will be a top 18 quarterback. Justin said no. You know Jared loves his Baker Mayfield. Justin won. Baker Mayfield was 29. Then Nate said that, I'm sorry, not Nino. Nate said that Baker Mayfield will be top 15. So he went 3 ahead of Jared. Justin still said no. Justin won that one. OBJ will play a snap. Jared and George, you guys win. You said he wouldn't. I thought he would before January 1st. Didn't play a snap at all. So you guys, you foresaw the future. And I felt pretty strongly about that one as well. So that was a good win for you guys. Here comes Taysom Hill, finishing as a top 15 in tight end PPR scoring. Justin said yes. Jared said no. Justin won that one. Taysom Hill came in at 145 points. DJ Moore will score 9 touchdowns. Nino said yes. Alex said less than 9. He only had 7 touchdowns, so there's DJ Moore again. Then we have another DJ Moore bet. So there was a lot of Carolina discussion. All right. Top 12 wide receiver finish. Justin said yes. Alex said no. Alex won that one as well. Chuck said the Cowboys would have a top 5 offense, which they didn't. Nino said no. They were 11th. I'd say if Dak didn't get hurt and didn't miss, 4 games, I think you'd see them somewhere in 7th, top 7. But I don't think they would have been top 5 anyway. They have some kinks they need to work out. But we definitely saw CeeDee Lamb come on towards the end of the season. We saw those tight ends come on, and the potential was there. So they're definitely a top 10 offense with Dak in there. And we're going to see some. Mike McCarthy actually was interviewed today, with Stephen Jones, talking about Mike McCarthy and the offensive coaching change. And Mike McCarthy said he loved everything Kellen Moore did except for like 20 to 30% of the play calling. So he wanted to take over. They can continue to do a lot of what they were doing, but they're going to adjust 20 to 30% of it. And I'm hoping that 20 to 30% of it is those double reverses, those when we're moving the ball and all of a sudden we do something dumb where we're like flipping the ball from one guy to another and we go from being on the 40, gaining momentum to now we're on our 32 and it's 2nd and 18. We do not need that. All right. This next one, Jalen Waddle will finish overall higher in fantasy points than Mike Williams. I said yes. Alex said no. Waddle finished there. Taysom Hill scores a TD in his first 3 weeks. This one was very specific. And then he scores 6 total TDs by the end of the season. Justin said yes. Justin was beating the drum for Taysom Hill. Alex said no. Juju finished a top 16 wide receiver PPR. Me and Jared said yes. Justin said no. So Justin was on a roll here. Justin wins. I said Dalton Schultz will outscore both Kittle and Hawkinson. And Schultz was hurt, so he would have done better. But even if he did better, Kittle finished 3rd with 200 points. Hawkinson finished 2nd with 215 points. So it didn't matter. Dalton Schultz, even if he was injured, maybe he would have been 5. But he ain't passing those 2 dudes. So Justin was on it. I spoke too highly from my chest with that episode. This next one, George Pickens will be the leading wide receiver for the Steelers. Jared said yes. Justin George said no. Pickens was 40th in PPR. Deontay Johnson was 28th. So Justin and George.
Man, PPR points don't tell the whole story because if you know.
Yeah. I love Pickens, man. Pickens is a dude. But hey, we're almost done with this. Waddle will be a top 10 wide receiver. I said yes. So there's a lot of Waddle. He was 8th. I won. Justin and George said no. So George, I remember this bet. You said you hoped I was right, but you thought there weren't going to be enough balls to go around. There were. But then this next one. So what went on from that bet? Then I said not only will he be a top 10 wide receiver, he'll have 25 more receptions than Tyreek. That was dumb. Hill had 117 and Waddle had 70. So it wasn't even close. And then these last 3, most points, Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson. George had Harris. Justin, Jared, and Jason had Stevenson. Stevenson won that one. Who will win the AFC South? No one won this bet because George said the Titans and Justin said the Colts. Neither of them won it. Irv Smith is a top 12 tight end. He was 43rd. So Justin said yes. George, Rich, and Joe C said no. All right. So they won that one. The final one. This one was very interesting. This was a very fun bet, and it was fun to check out. Jacoby Brissett's win percentage will be better than Watson's if they both start at least one game. Justin said yes, and he's the one who put this up. I said no. Brissett was 4-7 with a 364 win percentage. Watson was 3-3. the 500 win percentage. So that was the last one. I am the 2023 Bathroom Board champ with 12 wins. Justin came in second with 10. George came in third with 8. And then Nino in fourth with 4. But shout out to Justin, Nino, George, and Jared for all having 10 or more bets. The rest of you guys, we got Nate, Jason, Joe, Mike, Rich, even. You guys got 5 or less bets. You guys need to start speaking up. Now Moon's already on the board twice. So he's already almost got more than you guys. So Moon, what are your thoughts on the Bathroom Board? What are you looking forward to with the Bathroom Board of the 2023 season? Then I'll wrap this up, my guy.
For 2023 season?
Yeah, what are you looking forward to?
All of your bets?
Yeah. I bet a lot, but I still had a high win percentage. I was 12 out of 20. So I was over 500.
You were 60%. 60%.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a chat coming in from Rich. Shout out to Rich. Rich is always in here, man. He's always
tell Rich, because he's got Bathroom Board bets in there. Rich, throw them in Gilded, because I'm not going to be able to see all these after the show. So throw the Bathroom Board bets you want to be in, throw them in the Gilded chat, and I'll make sure to put them on the doc.
I'll say it out loud for the people that's watching.
All right, go ahead.
He said, here's a board bet for y'all. Don't matter where Derek Carr goes, Derek Carr is going to finish as a top 10 quarterback.
Who wants to say no?
I'll say no to that.
10 QB. So Rich says yes.
I'll say no.
George says no. All right.
By the way, I just want to point out,
you want to just sit back and watch.
I am not touching that from a mile away.
I want to point out that the saying Coach won is kind of misleading, because he got 60% of his right, which is phenomenal. Like 60% of anything is fantastic. I only managed to get 66% right. So if we're going percentage wise,
we're not going percentage. I'm just all so
you're just doing the Emmitt Smith then. You're just basing it solely on volume.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what we've done for 3 years. So I'm going to take it, man. It's great. I might not be the best win percentage, but I have the most wins. And I'll take that. All right. All right. Well, hey, this was a blast. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Make sure to check out Head to Head later at 9:30. We also have CFB Nation on the CFB Nation YouTube channel. It's going live at 9. So they're probably live right now, KT and Nino. Wednesday night, we got Joe Knows. We got Draft Nerds over on the CFB Nation. We got On the Clock Thursday night. We got D Now. We got Boomer live from Indy. They're talking combine. We got constant news and updates going in the Gilded chat. Check out Titles on the Twitter. Check out CFB Nation on the Twitter. You're going to see constant news and updates. We got video clips live from the podiums on CFB Nation's YouTube channel, on Titles Twitter handle. So all that stuff, stay tuned. Lock in with us, man. We have you covered. If you haven't learned by now, you need to recognize we are constantly growing. Every step of the way, we are becoming more and more capable of bringing you content and access to everything you are looking to in the football world. Not now, it's college, it's NFL, it's draft, it's combine, it's bowl games, it's fantasy football. Anything you are looking for, you have access to it as long as you are following Titles and Titles and CFB Nation. All right, that's it. You don't got to go anywhere else. All right, and if you get sick and tired of hearing and seeing me, we got a team of like 20 guys now. And everybody knows their stuff. So you don't even have to watch my stuff or listen to my stuff. You can listen to somebody else, but we're still bringing you the content. So enjoy it. Getting Gilded. Join Frankenstein. Moon, you got anything to say to these lovely people before we say bye-bye?
Thank y'all for your time and the constant dedication that y'all show to our platforms. We appreciate it greatly. We don't want to leave this show without thanking y'all. Whoever does come across this content, you're appreciated greatly. Share, with somebody you love, somebody you don't like either.
Yeah.
All of that in between. Hopefully the show is good for you, added value to you in some way, even if it was seeing Coach go for 60%.
Yeah.
But
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
In baseball, that's like you're crushing it, batting 600.
Yeah, but yeah, man, today I'm excited for these episodes. I know Justin, the people miss you, but I've been thoroughly enjoying every single one of these with you, Coach.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to be up here. And man, make sure y'all follow at Toilets and Titles on Twitter, at the CFB Nation on Twitter. Check out our YouTubes to continue to explore our content.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I got to say.
All right. We'll see you all later in the week. See you next week. Be good. Enjoy the combine. This is the best time of year, man. The off season is the season of optimism. So embrace it. Enjoy it. We'll catch you all later on. Take care.